broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, let's try this again. Welcome, everyone, to 12-Step Roadmap. I appreciate you. We're recording and the live broadcast has started. So we're going to do something a little bit different. Yesterday, I had the luxury of pulling Miss Tammy Kling from the Writers Group and Director of Communications, VP of Communications for CI Web Group, into a webinar, and we specifically did it for the HVAC dealer training program that we have with Goodman, Amana, and Daikin. However, the content and the information applies to everyone. So I want to give you guys an opportunity to see that session. Really, we talked about content marketing, how to write content, how to write value propositions, how to leverage content, and so forth. And this really is going to apply to anybody that is interested in accelerating their results with their website, their social media, their lead generation, and so forth. So you guys are going to get to listen to a recorded broadcast training session with Tammy and I from yesterday, but I think you're going to love it and you definitely need it. So with that, we'll get started from here.
Program. I'm so excited to have you here today, especially because of my guest. Tammy Kling is the world's top ghostwriter and has been a major player in a lot of companies. You guys are looking at her site right now. Virgin Airlines says Tammy Kling is one of the world's top ghostwriters. She has endorsements from major corporations, professional athletes, as well as CEOs and business owners across the nation, and has really been one of the most valuable players on our team. So I want to introduce Tammy. Before I get started, though, I want to make sure you guys know where to go. Of course, this is the HVAC Dealer Training Program, and this is sponsored by Amana, Goodman, and Daikin, as well as a host of distributors that are participating in the program. And this is strictly for HVAC companies to be able to leverage technology, content, and internet marketing in order to grow their business and accelerate growth overall. You guys can get registered for training. If you're not registered already, you can go to www.12steproadmap.com. Right at the very top, it says sign up. Once you hit sign up, you will see the HVAC Dealer Training Program right here. And if you're just joining us and you haven't seen any of the trainings before, feel free to check out those videos under the tab that's called HVAC Training. And you guys can get started with some of the archives there. We've got an incredible series of 12 months of training for 2015 already planned out. And like I said, this is with the guru of everything. You guys have heard me consistently talk about the fact that web search, social, mobile, and everything marketing stems from one primary asset, and that's your voice. And Tammy calls it words, or she always says words are currency, Jen. Words are currency. And Tammy, thank you, first of all, for taking time to be with me today and participating in the program. I appreciate you. I know you're swamped with client projects. But let's first talk about that. Marketing doesn't exist. You can have a beautifully designed website, lots of pretty pictures. You can have video. You can have a social media site. You can have all of these things. But the bottom line is words are currency. Let's kind of go through that.
Hi, thank you. And what a valuable training this is, first of all. Words are currency. I mean, I think most companies really focus on getting their message out there, but they don't take time to drill down and make a distinction between information that just really says nothing and information that provides value. And that's what you do, of course, for all of our clients, which is make that important distinction. When I say words are currency, of course, that means every single department, product, division within the company, it's very, very important to leverage our assets. And of course, we've heard content is king. We have heard that statement in the past, but today, more than ever, where 90% of humans are making their decisions online or from their phone or tablet or computer. Mobile is really, really critical, but everything that we say is so important in how we word it. It's not about gaming the system. It's not about trying to find a way to get, a bunch of garbage out there, right? Your competitors will put a bunch of garbage out there because they're not educated. It's really important to do what you're saying, Jennifer, which is really to laser focus on value, because if you get one shot with the consumer, you want to make sure that in that 30 seconds or in that 60 seconds, what they're reading about you is legitimate, authentic, and provides value.
That is, Tammy and I are in the process of writing a book, and we have a chapter in the book that's all about what would you tell your best salesperson if they had the opportunity to present the biggest possible proposal to the biggest possible prospect that you have. What would you tell them? And if you think about what that training would look like, obviously you'd want them to dress their best. You'd want them to look their best. You'd want the presentation to be top notch. You'd want them to have a thorough understanding of what the consumer's needs are. You'd want to be able to address any objections that the consumer may have right out of the gate. There's a whole host of things that you would do if you were in a physical presentation environment and if you were training your salesperson. However, when it comes to your web, your video, your social media sites, your mobile app, and so forth, a lot of times I notice that companies don't have the same expectation of their digital salespeople. How do you get people, Tammy, over that hurdle to where they really have the same level of expectations with the words that are written on a screen or a tablet or a mobile app or a social media site, and equating that to the same level of expectations you would have if you personally as a business owner were going out and providing that presentation, which is the opportunity of a life?
Well, and you hit the nail on the head, because the critical thing today is that we all have a lot more business flowing through our pipelines, no matter what industry we're in, because everyone finds us on the web. However, we also have the opportunity to lose that business. So 90% of any client that comes to you will already be sold by what they see on the web. And that's why your attention to value helps your clients double and triple their revenue. This is a very important distinction. I could look at other websites built by other web companies and see 9 out of 10 sites that I do a forensic on will be wrong. Now, there's this occasional 1% site where I'll say, you know what, you guys are doing everything perfectly. You're focusing on the end user, number one. You're using language that draws the audience in immediately. Number two, you're not using too many words and a bunch of information that doesn't matter. Number three, and you're providing a call to action. Number four. So those are very, very simple tips, simple to us, simple processes, of course, but it's kind of like changing the oil in your car. I mean, you might be able to, Jennifer, but of course, it's not an HLA. It's not a high leverage activity. It's not something I want to focus on because it takes me away from my core competency. So businesses really need to outsource it to you, the expert, and just say, take a look at our content. Let us write it, in a professional way that hits it one time, that draws people in, that actually speaks to our target market.
Yeah, this is and most
companies don't do that, by the way.
Totally agree. It's they're not necessarily budgeting for everything that they need in order to produce the result. It's like these stepping stones, but I cannot express enough that the stepping stone to making a website that produces results is quality content. The stepping stone that makes a website be able to rank properly on Google for the proper key phrases and search terms, whether you're trying to reach somebody at the top of the funnel who's asking questions to Google, trying to get validity, trying to get educated, trying to gain credibility, or you're catching somebody at the bottom of the funnel that's ready to make a decision. You can't do it without content. You also can't convert or connect to an audience in a social media environment if your content is not worded properly. If I sat here and I said I'm creating a video for my business, and Tammy and I jumped on and we just sat here and stared at a screen and we didn't say anything, or the content that we presented wasn't engaging, it wasn't talking to you directly, then again, you have what should have been an asset but winds up being a liability to the business, which is what Tammy alluded to earlier, is that the cost of not doing it right far outweighs the cost of doing it right. I mean, the best part about content, especially in a digital format, is it's forever. It's permanent, and it provides compounding asset for your business that works for you while you do anything and everything else that is in your core competency. Or it's having a martini on a beach, whatever that looks like to you. You have literally a sales presentation that's occurring continuously in multiple different formats. Tammy, I know you help people figure out not only what to write, how to write it, and who they're writing for, what their target audience, what's important to them. In that, you also talk about leverage. How do you leverage one piece of content, whether they're writing a book and they're dissecting that content and they're using it for ebooks and so forth? But what are all the variables that you see people being able to take one highly written, very quality piece of content and be able to leverage it in?
Well, that's one of the things that I absolutely love about what you do, because as you know, we can look at a website sometimes and often find another revenue stream that we can write that will leverage a whole new revenue stream in their business. For instance, if we look at a website and we see that they're missing one target market that they could be writing for or capitalizing on. I mean, that's really amazing. But the reason that I love books and I love ebooks is because it gives us the opportunity to create quality, valuable content. So, and it's not expensive. So literally for one ebook or book that a company's competitor will most certainly not have, because it's such a rare thing, we can create hundreds of blog entries, articles, pages, or content just from one book. So if we created one ebook or one book, we can then have hundreds of blog entries that we can then use throughout that year automatically at our disposal. And we write it in a way, like you said, that it's valuable and it's timeless and it's relevant and it's not just a bunch of junk.
Absolutely. So when it comes to content writing, and I'm guilty of this, I talk to clients all the time about getting content done. You know, it's like I said, it's not something they put in as a budget item when they're talking about getting a website done. However, can't do without it. There are different levels of content writers. So you have SEO content writers that all they do is create a piece of text that matches a mathematical equation, 500 to 1500 words, primary key phrase used once every 100 words, 5 to 15 times, multiple variations of the same word, i.e. math. That's not attractive to a consumer. Does it work on Google? Can it get you ranked? Absolutely. But the challenge is, what happens when the consumer gets to that page? So once you do own a page one position and you have the eyes of your prospects, at that point, the content has to change. It has to be enhanced. It has to talk to the consumer's wants and needs. And there's a big difference between you being a subject matter expert of your business and writing all about you and you writing for the consumer. Can you tell me a little bit about how you help people get that, instead of who I am, what I'm about, how long I've been in business, the products and services that I'm the best at, and what other people think of me? How do you actually write content that is focused on the value proposition or the needs of the consumer?
Well, that's a great question, and it's a simple process and answer. So I'm going to give an analogy that every one of us can relate to. It's like going and getting your hair cut or your hair done. You know, that seems like the simplest thing in the world. Get a pair of scissors, cut your hair, especially if you're a man, right? So why does everyone in the world, 99.9% of humans, go to a hairdresser to get their hair done? Because they believe that they couldn't do it themselves and still look as good. And it's the same way with content, and it boggles my mind when people allow their assistant or wife or, you know, just anybody, a SEO writer to write content because it's so vastly different. When I say words are currency, which I said in my TED Talk, words are currency, it means that words build your entire product, your company, your idea, your sales pitch, your team, your business meeting. We cannot do without them. And every single word is so important. If your prospect hits a website and those words are just SEO terms that are fluff or aren't correct, it's going to negatively impact your business, and you don't even know what you don't know. You don't know who you lost. So a good example of the modification that is very critical in terminology, I was writing one website recently, and it was very well written, and the products were very well written. However, it was a description of the products and of the company itself. XYZ company is a 2-decade-old company, and our products are in XYZ. I won't name the company. However, with a few very important slight modifications, we remember that the person reading the content is indeed a person, and we engage with the heart. So I modified that content to initially ask a specific question about the audience. So I asked a certain question that said, what about you? Okay. And then we talk about the product description. And then throughout that page, not only do we want to use the appropriate keywords that are going to get us ranked high, it's not just about that. We also want to sell the customer, right? Because they might even hear about the company from somewhere else. So we want to make sure the value is high, no matter whether a CEO is sending out a sales team face-to-face or whether it's something that's on Google or something in email. Everybody's going to look at the company website. So we want to make sure that the value hits the prospect and the end user, which is always a human. But a lot of times companies forget that. So writing in a way that engages the heart, an excellent example of this would be Apple. If you look at Apple, okay, versus other computer companies that I won't name, they focus on the individual. So even Apple's 2 words, think differently. They're not giving you product specifications, right? They're telling you to think differently. So what happens is they've engaged the heart of millions of consumers because everyone considers themselves someone that does or wants to think differently. And so that's what we do with a few word tweaks. We take brands from just wherever they are, elevating them to that next level, just like Apple, where with 2 simple words, we can engage the end user's heart and say, buy. Give them a call to action and tell them to buy. And we do. As you know, we actually tell them to buy.
Yeah, I know you consider and you're trained in NLP. How does that play into the way that you write your content? Neuro-linguistic programming.
Well, I think neuro-linguistic programming is certainly a very high-level writing technique. I don't know any other writer that does it except for us on our team, but I think it's very important. If you do it authentically, it's really critical. So what you're doing is, just like the top speakers in the world, you're embedding commands into your content. And what we do is when we are engaging with your audience, we look at your existing message that you want to portray. We do a forensic on that website for the company, and then we will embed commands into the writing that will anchor the audience with the outside world. So for instance, instead of them just thinking about your product in terms of your product, we want to embed and anchor through writing, through words, that will make them think about a company's product even when they're off of the web page. And I do the same thing in books as well. So this is the difference between a book like Good to Great, very simple term, right? Or The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Those 2 books are very powerful, right? Or Apple, Think Differently, or Nike, Just Do It. when people say just do it, that's a common term in the vernacular of the world, right? And so Nike has done a great job of anchoring their statement, just do it, because that's a term. Just do it. Just get it done. Do it. And they've done a great job of anchoring that to the outside world. So we do the same thing when we're writing content, very specifically tailored to the individual corporate message. And it is a very specific skill. And, you know, for me, I mean, that's your business. Once we do it once, it's going to last a decade, right?
Absolutely. I have a chapter in the book I was working on. I haven't sent this piece to you, but it's called The What's Next Mindset. And I only titled it that, and it's about having a what's next mindset, meaning, okay, we've done, you know, the chapter before that is do more of what works. And then it's have a what's next mindset. And I was trying to get that to be my anchor in the book. So absolutely. Let's see here. So one of the things I noticed in the HVAC world, a lot of them, our clients are kicking tail on SEO. They're showing up page 1, usually position 1 through 6 for their primary key phrases. And the what's next for them needs to be that they have better conversion rates and are building more of a relationship. So one of the things we're talking about with them and their what's next strategy is they now need to provide some type of a giveaway that can do most of the sales work for them prior to engaging in the consultation. So in the past, all they've done is drive them to a phone number, get them to call, and then they have to have this big, long sales presentation and answer all of their questions and build the relationship on that very, very first call. So you and I are working on a set of ebooks that are custom to the HVAC world, but we can do it for anybody, of course, that allows somebody to go to your website, download an ebook, and that ebook does a lot of the work for you and presets that mindset. How do you see that helping from a logistics standpoint, from a customer service, from time and so forth, operations, sales, closing? How do you see somebody having an extremely well-written ebook setting the tone for future engagement and an easier conversion for a client?
The nice thing about ebook is that it really does promote conversion and it gives people value. There are a whole segment of humans out there that want value right away. If you think about our customer base, and we come from a sales background, I mean, I spent 15 years in sales, management, leadership, working at the C-level and on the ground as a sales manager, understanding the dynamics and psychology of sales. So if you think about the different personality types that people have, you've got your skeptical buyer, you've got your, they need proof, right? They need value. If you give them an ebook that is immediate proof, immediate value that you have delivered to them, then you've got your confident buyer. They may have heard about you and they already want you. All they need is that confidence in you. So the ebook that you and I have created is designed specifically for both of those buyers to go into the psychology of the buyer and just to talk to the value proposition. And the nice thing about that is, again, we can create a lot of amazing content from that. But if somebody downloads an ebook already, it's this position of you have provided them with something that your competitor has not provided them with. Another excellent positioning tool for building credibility is that ebook. There's a lot of people in a lot of different industries. So how do you set yourself apart as the credible expert? For instance, you, Jennifer, everybody knows that CI Web Group is the expert at a very high level with high level clients, and that you're out there doing a lot of high level business, functioning with a lot of a lot of clients, but functioning at a very, very deep level, doing things that just anybody can't do. However, there's a lot of web companies out there that just put a sign up on the internet and call themselves a web company. I think that it's really important to do the work to establish that credibility. One of the great things about like your book or an ebook that any company might offer is that you've already walked the walk and talked the talk, and you're putting all the facts in there, everything, your life, legacy, experience, and knowledge you're putting into that ebook. So you are the credible expert. You are delivering knowledge that no one else has, and certainly not your competitor.
Yeah, you guys, this is, I love our mix because Tammy has a massive background in sales and sales psychology, and I'm very operational in logistics. And it's funny when you put us together, I write in bullet points, and then she humanizes everything that I do, which I couldn't do without. But it's the ability to allow words in an ebook form to be able to be downloaded, read by the consumer. They're already pre-sold. They already have an understanding. They already have an attachment, emotional attachment to you and your business is going to really, really speed up that closing ratio, or speed up the closing cycle, the sales cycle, as well as improve your conversion ratio. So that's critical. Last one, and I know we could talk for the whole day, but let's go through the last one, which I think is important to business owners right now. You guys, your most valuable asset is your current customers, your past customers, your strategic partners, your referral relationships, and so forth, right? You have a list of, hopefully you've got a CRM system or a database, comes to the logistics side of me, that you have all of this contact information in. And I think this is one of the biggest missed opportunities from a marketing standpoint, and your ability to convert or leverage technology to convert time to cash is in an effective email marketing strategy to those people who already know you, already love you, and maybe you're just not top of mind. So what are some things that people can do in order to put together an effective email marketing strategy to make sure that they are top of mind and in front of those contacts to either bring them additional upsells, to get them to do business with them again if they maybe have in the past, or possibly to increase the number of referrals that they're getting from that database or that list of relationships as well? What are your thoughts?
Email marketing strategy is important. It's critical. And it has changed. However, the way that most people, 99% of companies, are utilizing it has not changed. And the tragic thing is that the consumer mindset today is all about compression. It's all about sound bites. We all know that. We all know that whether it's people looking on real estate websites for their houses and doing all their work up front, or whether or not they're going to CarMax to buy a car, or Craigslist, and they're shopping online ahead of time, no matter what the product or industry is, everybody is about compression, and they want fast results, and they want it in minutes. They want a fast connection and fast results. However, it's a tragedy when I get an email from a company that has not modified their content to fit the current consumer. So oftentimes you will get an e-blast or some sort of email marketing campaign, and if you look at it, it's like 2 pages of nothing but words, right? And I mean, how many people are actually going to stay tuned in? That's not going to lead to conversions. So you made a very good point, because email marketing is still very critical, but just in the last 15 months, the way that consumers are receiving content has changed. And you cannot do the old email newsletter of the past. You really have to compress content, which is what we focus on. So with ebooks, it's one thing. You're focused on delivering tangible value that walks them through a series of 6 important steps, right? That's going to provide them with instant value. With web content, we do want to compress it, but not as much. On each page, they're committed. The consumer is committed when they go to your website that they're going to read a page of valuable content. And of course, we want to make it SEO friendly. But when it comes to email marketing, our primary goal is call to action, call to action, call to action. So we can't do an epic newsletter like they did in the old days. That's a big no-no. We can't do a canned, long novel like the old days. We really have to compress it and focus on call to action, call to action, call to action, because the consumer psychology of the buyer and the audience when they're reading email is completely different than the consumer brain when he or she is reading your website. So think about it in terms of this. You go to buy a movie ticket, and you know when you buy that ticket and you get your popcorn and your Twizzlers, you know you're committed to 2 hours, right? And you're happily committed to 2 hours because that's what you signed up for. So think of that in terms of an ebook or a web page. Our buyer, your buyer, our prospect that we're going to win for you and dominating the market with content is in for a commitment to read your web page. But when it comes to email marketing, it's not the movie. It's a television segment that's only going to last 20 minutes before you go on to the next thing, or it's a Twitter comment. So on your email marketing, that consumer is inside their email. They're in their house, okay? You are entering their house with your words and your email marketing. So we want to make sure when we enter their living room that we get in, we say what we need to say, we shake their hand, and we get ready for them to delete us, because the email consumer is going through their inbox and all they want to do is delete, because they're driven by a feeling of completion and productivity. So it's a completely different psychology of the buyer. So the great thing about what we do is, and I know I just kind of gave you a whole university class on content for email marketing versus content for web marketing, but you can see the distinction. You know, I'm not an expert in any area but this, which is why I outsource everything from house painting to vehicle repair to whatever, because I'm just not an expert. You know, it's why we use CI Web Group for all of our websites all across everything. You know, I am not an expert on that, but what we are experts on is content, and it's not just about the right words, it's about the right words at the right time and the right length. So the bottom line on email marketing campaigns is, you know, most people make it too long and they make their newsletters mimic the web content, but the buyer is in a completely different mode. You know, it's a difference between making that commitment to watch a film at the theater or reading a book to just kind of scrolling through your news feed on social media. You know, one is a short-term commitment, one is a long-term commitment. And on email, people are really focused on productivity. So the content that we use is powerful. We actually have a deliberate process and formula of short sentences with high velocity for impact. So in our email marketing, you'll look at 2 paragraphs maximum with high velocity call to action impact statements. And it's always authentic, never cheesy, never like those big, lose 10 pounds in a day messages, nothing like that. It's always super authentic, focused on your message.
Okay, I'm not letting you off the hook. Your instruction is so valuable. Last thing, I promise. Social media, what are they doing wrong? What do they need to do?
Social media, as you know, 90% of people are doing it wrong. And of course we could do a whole nother webinar series on this, but a lot of companies hire social media experts, and they might think they're social media experts, but they get in with the wrong group of people because they haven't tested them properly. So The thing that drives me crazy, probably more than anything, is when I see somebody on social media just asking endless questions and not providing any value. It's just a tactic to get responses, but if you continue to do that, you isolate a whole segment of the population that actually hates being asked questions, right? So that's what people think is a valuable tactic for engagement is not.
All right, Miss Lady. I have taken up a ton of your time. Thank you so much. You guys, this is incredibly powerful information that can change the shape of your business, the size of your business, and the rate in which it grows. I know that if you're attending these courses, business growth is important to you. And Tammy is an ace in our pocket. Hopefully will be an ace in yours as well. In order to make that happen, everything revolves around content, your messaging, your words, your presentation. And so I want to make sure that you guys have the best of the best of the best information, which is why I have Tammy on the team and on board. Tammy, thank you so much for visiting with us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. And here's to great content, and words are currency. Have a great day.
Thanks.
All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and pause that. I hope that this provides you with some valuable insights on how to grow your business and what you really have to focus on. Everything is tied together, right? If you have a incredibly designed website, incredibly developed website, fantastic. But without the content, you're toast. If you've got a social media page without the right content, you're toast. If you are investing in an SEO plan and you're not writing or having written the content that is necessary to be able to get ranked and convert. So by the time you get to page 1, it's okay to start out with some SEO content to get you ranked. If you're not in the top page, it doesn't matter anyway, right? But once you get to page 1, you need to be rethinking. I tell everyone you need to have a what's next mindset. A what's next mindset. And what I mean by that is you need to be working with your strategist. If you guys are our clients, of course, you know who you're going to be talking to. But if you're not, then you need to have a strategist that can help you prioritize. And you constantly have to be improving. This is not about, I don't have enough time. If I hear you saying it, please, you got to have a coming to Jesus meeting with yourself about that, because I guarantee you're spinning your wheels in your business. If you have the mindset of, I don't have enough time, or I can't afford it, and I'm just going to keep doing the same thing, beating my head on the same wall, expecting a different result, that doesn't work. Your time is impacted by not doing high leverage activities that free you up and give you more time. I used to have to speak 3 to 5 times a week. Now I handpick every speaking event. I think I have 4 this week, maybe 5 this month, but they are hand selected. I said no to 20. And it is only because we continually invest in high leverage activities that are going to create freedom in our business, that are focused on growth. And that's what creates the freedom that you need to do other things in your business, invest in other things, come up with a new business model, come up with a new product, come up with a new solution, a new service, something. So the relationship between SEO, content, your website, and social media it's not a trifecta because there's like 5 things. I don't even know what you call that. It's so tightly knit. If you are reading Huffington Post or you're reading any of the SEO blogs, what you're going to see is Google is leveraging the social metasphere in order to allow real people to determine your value. So if you have an incredible SEO campaign, hopefully you have incredible content, and hopefully you have an incredible social media marketing plan. Now, I know some of you are doing the basics, and the basics are fine to start, but again, you got to get into that what's next mentality. Doing a little bit is fine, but you got to jump into the next phase, the next phase, the next phase, the next phase. Write this down. Keep doing more of what works. Keep doing more of what works. Have a what's next mindset. Keep doing more of what works. Social media and SEO are so tightly wound right now. Search engine optimization used to be content is king, right? And all it was is about producing mass amounts of content. It's not that way anymore. It's about what's earned and what's purchased. So it is earned credibility. Earned credibility comes from having incredibly written content, something that's useful, informational, something somebody's willing to share or comment or connect with. And your social influence or your authority ranking or your Google authorship ranking is heavily, heavily impacting whether or not your site is considered credible. So it's, as I said, it's okay to start small, but always have a what's next mindset. Always continue to add, continue to build. Right now, our company, let me give you a couple scenarios. I got people chatting like crazy all over. Hang on, let me quiet people down some here. Okay, so let me give you a couple examples in our business. All right. Obviously, this was an HVAC training. We've got exclusive partnerships with some major manufacturers that have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dealers, and that's a big niche for us. So it's not about CI Web Group providing web search and social products and services to this dealer base. What's next? What's next is we created a website that allows HVAC contractors to sign up for a listing and to get listed inside a directory listing. What does that do for us? Think about it this way. If you were to create a website that is of value to what's important, what are they already looking for? HVAC contractors, everybody's looking for, where can I list my site? So this is important to them. It builds backlinks, it builds credibility. It gives them a safe place to get reviews, not like Yelp where if you get a negative review, you got to pay them hundreds of dollars to get it removed or whatever it is. So the first thing is for us, here's our strategy, okay? People sign up for the HVAC directory and they get a listing. Now, I don't even care if it's free or paid. We do both. So we have paid subscriptions and we have free subscriptions for Amana, Daikin, and Goodman dealers because that's our partners. So somebody signs up for a listing and they get a listing in the system. There's ratings, there's social media integration, they get a big list and so forth. These are all the companies that have signed up so far. In addition to that, so think about it. When they sign up, they're now in our database. We gave them an item of value. It's something that's important. Great, powerful site. And they get an item of value. Now they're in our database. So the next thing is they get invited to training. Then we have on 12-step roadmap, we have the HVAC training program. They can sign up for training. Training puts them into a program like this. We educate and educate and educate and educate. And through the training program, just like I'm going to ask you, if you're interested in a free consultation, fill out the request for consultation. Let's spend an hour together. Let's get educated and so forth. And next thing you know, now they're a client of CI Web Group. You have to think differently. I'll give you another example. Let's go to top success books and speakers. So we love working with successful companies and helping them elevate their brand, right? And even take it to the next level. A tool people are always using or looking for is where can I find the top success books? If I'm starting with a company or I'm starting my company, hopefully it's on your agenda to read the top success books in the world, right? So we create a tool. This is what's next. If I want to attract successful businesses, successful people, then I need to create something surrounding success. So, for example, this has the top 100 success books. It has a list of featured speakers, which are success speakers, motivational speakers, and then we're building out featured success building companies. Now, this site is in stage 1. It's going to grow. There will be the opportunity for success coaches, consultants, mentors, companies, success seekers, and so forth to sign up, similar to CIHVAC, to jump into this listing system, which is a lead generation opportunity for us, plus very, very powerful to those that are participating. If you go to Google, and two major phrases. Now this site's only like 5 days old, right? 5 days old. So we started off with the social media sites. So our Facebook site and our Twitter site were the first two things we started off for in preparation for a website launch. So we started off with those on Twitter. We went out and followed the most successful businesses, companies, organizations, tools, systems, and so forth. And of course, we've got a great network of followers that are all some of the most successful people in the world. Same thing happened with CIHVAC. So we started a Twitter account first. We started a Facebook account second. We went out and connected with HVAC companies from around the globe. in a matter of days, 4 days, we had over 1,200 HVAC companies following us on Twitter. Every one of those companies gets a notice that says, hey, sign up for a free listing on CI HVAC. Boom, now we're creating new opportunities, and we're building our list so that we can do other things with those. Same thing. So 2 of the most searched phrases. So this is out of 161 million pages, and in less than 7 days, we have our Facebook account, and Top Success Books and Speakers just made it to the front page of Google. So think about your audience. What can you do next? Be creative. Do something different. It's not about us having CI Web Group. It's about, that was the starting point. And I know this is very advanced for a lot of the people that are attending today. But if you sequentially do more of what works, do more. CI Web Group. I had a gentleman, he called and he was like, I looked for you for Dallas web design. I was like, that's not my gig. But if you look for marina, and if I want to niche it out and follow an industry, so if you look for marina and port web design or marina web design and so forth, we're going to occupy that space. So that's another niche market for us. What's next? I'm sure you guys already know what's coming, right? What's next is going to be marinasandports.com. This is in development. Similar system, similar model. Start with the social media sites. Identify your primary prospects. Create some item of value. Drive people to something that's free, and then build it big, and then start implementing paid subscriptions and so forth. So in every business, you can get creative. You can come up with something that is smart. You can come up with something that's new, that's different. The goal of success, or the ability to be successful, is not to reinvent what's already been done. It's to think of something different and make what's already been done obsolete. Think of that. It's to make something different, to make whatever's already been done obsolete. So this is a very carefully executed strategy between our preparation, which is the social media networks. It kills me, and I can't change it. I can't change how other people think. Only you can change how you think. But I get on the phone, I have strategy conversations, and I'll hear people that'll say, no, I'm going to wait to do social media, or oh, I want to start with the basic plan, or no, I don't want to do SEO, I just want a site. I just want to shake somebody and go, come on, this is a big deal. This is your money. This is your business. This is your freedom. This is whatever you went out for, whatever was important to you when you started your business. This is it. If you think about it, how many decades ago did McDonald's launch their business, right? And when McDonald's launched their business, McDonald's had a very, very smart strategy that said, where are people most likely to see us? And it was this thing called a highway. And if you notice, McDonald's placed their restaurants on every exit of a highway they could possibly get real estate on. That was their highway that put this, 300-foot tall standing arches right in front of all the eyeballs. You guys, we live today in a day and age where the eyeballs that are interested in your businesses are doing 2 things. They're searching for you on Google, and they're asking questions, top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, people that are doing research, people that are already interested in buying. They're on Google, and they're searching, and they're on their social media sites for probably 7 hours a day. That is your super highway. Forget the highway. That is your super highway to be able to get in front of the right people. Keep doing more of what works. I'll tell you, last night, my fiance, Mike, and I, and Kathy, and a couple team members, we were up until 3 o'clock in the morning because we worked. Yesterday, I had sales presentations. Hang on, let me just make sure this is real. So this is the whole, if you're saying I'm busy, right? This is my schedule. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I didn't have a lot of time. Do I have time to work on my own products and services, develop content, build social media network? No. Do I make time? Absolutely. This is my schedule last week. Of course, I was up in the mountains on this day. This is my schedule the week before. This is my schedule the week before that. This is my schedule this week. I don't do live meetings. I don't drive around. I don't spend 8 hours on a road. I don't go to networking events. I don't travel. Well, I travel, but that's all for fun. I'm very, very particular about what I say yes to, what I say no to, and how I spend my time. I'm just asking you to do the same thing. In your business, you had some goal, right? You still have some goal. There's something driving you. I'm just going to stop on these slides. What was it? Do you have a success plan? Do you have a coach? Are you helping other people win, and are you making the right decisions in your business to win? Are you focused on creating freedom? Are you putting the systems and the processes and the tools in place to create more time, to alleviate the time you're having to spend on certain activities repetitively, day over day over day, like Groundhog's Day? You wake up every day at 6 o'clock in the morning and you see the exact same list of activities. Are you changing your thinking? However you currently think got you where you are. You want to get to the next level, you're going to have to adjust your thinking. And then you're going to get to the next level, you're going to go as far as you can see, and then you're going to change your thinking and you're going to go further. Keep doing it over and over and over again. Are you learning? You obviously are. I'm so proud, I'm so happy, and I'm really excited that all of you attended today. This is what this is focused on. I'm constantly feeding my mind new information. I'm constantly trying new things. You know, we're in a good position. We can obviously bring products to market, test them. If they fail, so what? That's what we learn from. We do it different and better every single time. But the goal of each one of you, I'm sure, is to create a successful business, something you can hand down to your children, a legacy, something you can leverage to be able to give back, to be able to donate, to be able to volunteer, to do more philanthropy, whatever that looks like to you. The only way to do that is you must change your thinking. You have to have complete clarity. You have to focus on those things that are high leverage activities. Say no to everything and everyone else. Execute consistently, evaluate your results, and do more of what works. Do more of what works. Do more of what works. Find out. Have a strategist, have a coach that has a what's next mindset. Come to the table with the what's next mindset. Okay, if something doesn't work, fine. Move it. Get rid of it. Stop doing it. The things that do work, keep investing, keep investing. You're bootstrapping your business. You are investing in something, generating new leads, creating new opportunities. Now, if you're only investing in a portion of what you should be doing, you've got a gorgeous site, you're not adding content. You're adding content for SEO, but you're not improving that content for conversions once you get to a page one listing. If you're not doing those things, because you're telling yourself that you don't have enough time, I promise you, that's not the truth. It's only the truth to you. There are people that are out there doing it differently every single day, and you can do the exact same thing. You guys, with that, I hope this is helpful. Please do me a favor. If you know any business owners that could benefit from our training sessions, definitely send them over to 12-Step Roadmap. Have them sign up for sessions. They can check out the archives from 2014, 2015 webinars as well. And if you have ideas, if you have a business idea and you want to bring it to the table, position yourself to be ready to have a very honest opinion. And, I create business ideas all the time, bring in my mentors, my coach, my partners, my spouse, and I expect that they will bring them to the chopping block and tell me what's wrong with them so that I can keep improving and getting better. You guys in your own business, invest in you, invest in your business, keep doing what works, and we will see you on next week's training. Thank you so much for your time today. I value it greatly. And if you need a consultation, you know where to find us. CIWebgroup.com.